Hello, we're back in Matthew's Friends Keto Kitchen, and today we have with us Liz Neal, who is one of Matthew's Friends dietitians. Proteins, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So just how important is protein to our diet?
Well, protein is a really important macronutrient. It has lots of important tasks in the body. It has very many functions in the body. You're probably aware of the structural importance of protein, so you may have heard of a protein called collagen, which is important for structure like muscles and skin. So protein is a building block for various things, particularly for children. They're growing. But protein is also used to make transport proteins. So we have things like hemoglobin and lipoproteins, which are used for iron and for fats in the blood. Protein is also used to make enzymes. So they're things that, for example, digestive enzymes like amylase, they're made from proteins, and also for hormones. So insulin, you may have heard of,
yes,
blood glucose control, that's made from protein. And there's protein like albumin, which is used to buffer the blood and keep the pH of the blood constant. So there's lots of important things that protein is used for in our body.
So in front of us here, I know that all these foods we can use within the ketogenic diet, and of course that's what we are concerned with. You've got the animal protein and plant protein. Is there any great difference or preference, or do we just get what we can from each?
Well, I think to answer that, if we go back a step and we look at what protein's made up of. So protein's made up of chains of amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein. There's about 20 different types of amino acid. Now, some of those we can actually make in our body, but the ones that we can't make are called essential amino acids. And there's 8 of those for adults, but in children there's more amino acids that are essential just because they need more for growth, and the pathways may be immature to make them in the body. So when we're looking at protein, we really want to look at the quality and quantity of the amino acids that's in the proteins. So animal proteins tend to be what we would call high biological value, which means they provide all the essential amino acids within them. Plant proteins tend to be lower biological value because they may be deficient in one or more of these essential amino acids. They're all great to use on a ketogenic diet, but I think we have to be mindful that they are different sources of protein. So, for example, if we look at our milk, that also has quite a high amount of carbohydrates. So in some diets, we may not be able to include milk. We might prefer to just use cream rather than milk. If somebody is having animal products, we can use meat, we can use fish, and depending on which protein source we would choose, we would add different amounts of fat to the prescription. Again, we can use cheese, we can use eggs, and if somebody wanted to use corn or tofu, we could incorporate that. We might need to consider the carbohydrate content and again, the fat content. And avocados, we love avocados on the ketogenic diet, but we must remember they are plant-based, and so again, they're not going to be a complete source of protein. And likewise, nuts, again, great, very high in fat, do contain some protein, but they're plant-based proteins, and so they may not contain all the amino acids, so we would want to vary the sources.
Well, there's more to protein than meets the eye.
Yes, and I think the key take-home message for anyone on a ketogenic therapy would really be to ensure you have a range of different protein sources. And this is particularly important on a plant-based diet because you're going to be wanting to make sure you meet all your amino acid requirements.
Yes.
Enjoy all the lovely protein foods we have.
Yes, all there to be had. Thank you very much, Liz. That was very interesting.